Hey there, hi there, ho there. I don't know why I just did that because that was not cute. Maybe we can take this out in editing later on. Like, rewind, don't do that, and again. But anyway, um, I want you to turn to page 483 in the back of your history books. We're on history and we're going to start off with our geography. So 483 in the back of your history books, and you're going to see this map, United States territories, okay? Because I'm not going to be able to get it as close as necessary, but we know that we have the United States, okay? And our United States is here, and then we've got our Alaska over here, United States, okay? Hawaii right here. So this is helpful because you can see it with not quite the whole world, but with a good, an outer view, so you can catch where those are and how that they all relate to the United States. Because remember, Hawaii and Alaska are part of our 50 states, but they're not directly on what we call the continental United States. So we have our United States, we have Alaska, we have Hawaii, but we're going to learn United States territories. The United States has 5 territories which are permanently inhabited, which means they're places that are they always have people live on them. It's not like people live on them and then they leave and then they come back. No, they're permanently inhabited. These territories are land that belongs to and is protected by the United States, but governs itself. And these territories include Guam, and Guam is way over here. So that's why I want you to look in your book so you can see Guam. It's a small island way over here. Interesting bonus fact, I almost went and taught in Guam. They came to my college that I went to. There's a Christian school out there. I think it's Harvest Baptist Christian School. And I was this close to going to Guam and teaching there, but I ended up coming here instead. So sorry you got stuck with me. So that just an interesting fact. So Guam, way out here, okay? Interesting fact about Guam, because Guam is near, besides me being almost there, because Guam is near the equator, it is hot there all the time. Guess it's probably good I didn't go there, right? Because, you know, Miss Monroe hates the heat. Guam is almost 6,000 miles from California. So almost 6,000 miles from California that it would take to get to Guam. The other United States territory is Puerto Rico, right here, okay, Puerto Rico, and that's not far. Puerto Rico is only about 1,150 miles from Florida. It has the largest telescope in the world, so you might want to go there just to see that. And it is one of the most densely populated islands in the world. And densely populated means that there's lots of people that live on this island. So it is one of the most densely populated islands. So you can see Florida right here. It's 1,150 miles away from Florida. Then we also have American Samoa. So coming down here, we've got Hawaii, Guam is over here, but way down here is American Samoa. American Samoa is a group of 7 islands in the Pacific Ocean south of the equator. It is almost 5,000 miles from California. So it's about 5,000 miles, 6,000 for Guam, 5,000 for American Samoa. American Samoa, good. Then we also have the U.S. Virgin Islands. So you look right near Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, not right near, but because remember our scale drawings, how things are made to look closer when they're really not quite that close. U.S. Virgin Islands is a popular tourist location in the Atlantic Ocean. People go there all the time. Not right now, but most often. It is the only place in the United States where people drive on the left side of the road, just like they do in Europe. If you were to go all the way over to Europe, people are driving on the left-hand side. So they're driving on this side of the road rather than on this side, which we're not used to, but they do that in the Virgin Islands. It is 1,106 miles from Florida, and it's only 111 miles from Puerto Rico. So they're 111 miles apart from each other, and this is 1,106 miles from Florida. And then the last of the 5 is the Northern Mariana Islands. And the Northern Mariana Islands is also about 6,000 miles from California, which makes sense because it's right near Guam, okay? It's only 128 miles north of Guam. It is a group of 22 islands which were formed by volcanoes. Several of these volcanoes are still active and could erupt, but that's what this group, Northern Mariana Islands, that's what that is. So the 5 United States territories, say them with me: Guam, say it, Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Northern Mariana Islands. Very good. So those are the 5 territories that you're going to be learning about. So I want you to think carefully through those as we will be practicing those along with our states. So don't forget all of your states, but also kind of get a recognition of these United States territories. All right, page 380. We need to go over our review of George Washington Carver comprehension check really quickly. Let me move this back. All right, so number 1, what did young George like to study in the woods? Very good. Plants is what he liked to study. What did his neighbor call him after he helped with her sick plant? Right, he got the nickname of the plant doctor. Let's see what the plant doctor can do. How did George earn money to put himself through school? What did he do? Right, he was doing everybody's laundry to help out. George Washington Carver was the first African American to graduate from which university? Iowa State. Very good. Iowa State University. He worked for which university? Tuskegee Institute. Right. So Iowa State is where he graduated from, and he worked for Tuskegee, which is our next question. Who wrote to him and asked him to work for Tuskegee? Obviously, Booker T. Washington did. Very good. What 2 plants did George Washington Carver find hundreds of uses for? Now, we know that we talked about 3 plants that he found uses for, but 2 of them he found hundreds of uses for. What were those 2? Right, what I had in my hand yesterday that lady wanted, the sweet potato, and the one that we have friends and family that are allergic to, peanuts. So sweet potato and peanuts are what he found hundreds of uses for. 118 for the sweet potato, 300 for the little peanut. How crazy is that? But that's what he did. How did Mr. Carver help the Southern farmers? Right, he taught them to grow other things rather than just cotton, right? Because they kept growing cotton, and it was damaging the soil, and it wasn't very helpful. So if they planted sweet potatoes and peanuts, those would put nutrients back into the soil, so that whenever they decided to rotate their crops and grow cotton again, that cotton would come up healthier than it had been, because they had been killing that soil so much with just the cotton. Very, very good. All right, page 381. I want to go through this and try to go through it as quickly because I know time is going, but we're going to talk about 2 men, Jim Thorpe and Jesse Owens, and obviously you can tell by their last names and by their appearance that they're not brothers, okay? But we're just going to talk about them together because they had very similar kind of background stories and so forth, interesting things that they were able to do. Jim Thorpe was born in 1887, died in 1953. Jesse Owens was born in 1913, and he died in 1980. And you can look at our timeline at the bottom and see we are moving steadily forward. We're almost at the end of the 1800s, and we're almost fully into the 1900s and leaving some of those things behind. So it's just so interesting how that all just kind of keeps moving along from where we were to where we are now. Just a bonus fact as well with Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe's Native American name was Wathohuck. Interesting, right? And Wathohuck means bright path. He was part of the Sac and Fox Nation in Oklahoma and lived on a reservation land, which is land that's set aside by the United States government for Native Americans. There are over 300 Indian reservations in the United States today. So let's read a little bit about Jim Thorpe. Even though Jim Thorpe and Jesse Owens never met, they had much in common. Both came from poor families. Both had obstacles to overcome, and both had coaches who helped them develop their skills. They were determined to work as hard as they could to represent the United States of America in the Olympic Games and became two of the greatest athletes in the world. Jim Thorpe. Twins! Early one May morning in 1887 on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma, twin boys were born to the Thorpe family. Their mother gave them both Native American names and English names. Charlie and James, who was called Jim, were very close growing up. So look at the important words: track, that's just a sport with running, jumping, competitions. Then important names, obviously Jim Thorpe, greatest male athlete of the 20th century by the U.S. Congress, that's what he was named. Jesse Owens was the first Olympic athlete to win 4 gold medals in one Olympics. And then the Medal of Freedom is the highest non-military award given to honor a person who has made a great contribution to the United States. So we'll be talking about all of that. So right now we're with Jim and his brother Charles, twins, Charlie, growing up on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma. Having a twin was like having an automatic best friend. By the time they were 3 years old, Charlie and Jim could ride a horse and swim. The boys loved the outdoors and learned to hunt, fish, and trap animals. Boarding school. When Charlie and Jim were 6 years old, they were sent to a boarding school for Native Americans where the children would live and learn. They would not only learn to read and write, but also learn how to do a skill, such as farming. Now, these are not Miss Monroe's running trophies because I don't run unless it's, scary clowns or something chasing me. But this is just to kind of go along with our lesson for today. They're just fun run things that I've done, walked, and enjoyed. But this is kind of what we're going to be talking about with these men, right? So these boys, Charlie and Jim, were sent to a boarding school for Native Americans, and they not only learned, all about their education, reading and writing and all of that, but they learned how to do a skill such as farming, kind of like what George Washington Carver did. While the boys were at the boarding school, Charlie became very sick, and later he died. So Jim's best friend, his twin brother, got sick and died. After Jim's mother died a few years later, Jim was sent to a different boarding school farther away from home. Think of how difficult that was. At Carlisle Industrial Indian School in Pennsylvania, Native Americans were taught a trade. Not long after arriving at Carlisle, Jim found out his father had died. Twin brother, later his mother, and now his father. Jim Thorpe wisely decided, I'm staying in school. He could have quit. He could have been done and said, I'm done. I can't, why else? I may as well just keep farming because that's all I can do. I have no family. I have nothing. I don't want to even think about school. No, he wisely decided to stay in school. He knew that his parents would want him to get an education. He was glad he did. One afternoon, Jim watched the track team practice. The high jump bar was set to 5 feet 9 inches, the school record. None of the team members could get over the bar. That looks like fun, Jim thought. He walked up to the track team and asked, can I try? So, this high jump, it was, okay, so we have 3 and 5 would be here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it would be about here, and you're thinking, oh, but Miss Monroe, that's not that much taller than you. No, it's not, but you have to think somebody's going to jump over top of me, and even higher than me. I'm like actually moving it down. Higher than me, jumping over that bar, okay? and the track team could not do it. And Jim had never done track before. He's just watching them. And he's like, can I try? They laughed at Jim and said, sure, go ahead, give it a try. Dude, if we've been practicing for years at this stuff and we can't do it, why does this kid think he can? Whatever, man. They were sure that Jim would never be able to jump that high. Jim was not even wearing a track uniform. He had on overalls and work shoes. Like he, like Farmer. He had his overalls and work shoes on. And he's going to try to jump over a 5'9" bar? Are you kidding? Jim took a running start and cleared the bar on his first try. What? On his first try. What? What just happened? The track member said in disbelief. Coach, you are never going to believe this. Jim Thorpe just broke the school record in the high jump. With overalls and work shoes on, not even tennis shoes or sneaker, nothing. He had work shoes and overalls. He just broke the school record. It was amazing. Coach Warner called Jim to his office. Come here, son. Trade in those overalls for a tracksuit, young man. You're going to be on my team now. I'm not letting this kid get away. He's going to be on my team because we are going to win every competition. Well, maybe not every, but we're going to try. Football team. More than anything, Jim wanted to play football. So here he is, this great track star just out of nowhere, but his love is football. He just wants to play football. Coach Warner did not agree. Football is a dangerous sport, he said. I can't afford for my best track athlete to get hurt. He tried to convince Jim that it was not a good idea, but he gave him a chance. Jim was given the ball and told to run the length of the field. He made it all the way to the other end. No one was able to tackle him. Now, he was on the football team too. So the coach is like, no, I don't, you're my best athlete. I can't have people tackling you. You could break something or, hurt your muscles. And no way, man, we're going to keep you all right, fine, here, take a ball, see if you can get down. And Jim's just running and he's getting past all the people. Like nobody's able to tackle him. They're falling. They can't even get to him. So now he's on the track team and the football team, and he had done neither one of those things before. With Jim's help, Carlisle was able to defeat many of the best teams. Once, Jim even played against Dwight D. Eisenhower, the future president of the United States, and Jim's team won. He excelled in every sport that he played. During the summers, Jim played minor league baseball. Why not? Let's just add that in there too. It kept him busy and gave him extra money and exercise when he was not at school. Oh, we're going to have to stop there. I know it's so interesting, right? Because now we're going to start to talk about the Olympics. So obviously, 1912 Olympics, maybe Jim was able to get in there. I mean, wouldn't be surprised because look at all the things that he was able to do up until now. He was somebody who was not going to let his obstacles take over his life. And that's what I want for you. Yes, you may have struggles. Yes, there might be things that are very tough for you. Yes, this is a tough time, but do not let obstacles take over and control what you do, what you learn, how you learn, the things that you can accomplish. Because even during times like this, you can accomplish so much because you have that in you. With the Lord's help, you have it in you to accomplish and do many great things. So we're going to learn more about Jim Thorpe and Jesse Owens. We'll find out about him coming up soon too, and find out with their obstacles what great things they were able to do because they would not let anything stop them. That's what I want for you. That same resolve to keep going no matter what you face, because you've got God on your side and you can do all things through him. All right, we will see you in our next video. See you later.